we had seen psychological error, organizational error. Okay, we studied. Then types of psychological errors, barriers, and types of organizational barriers. So what are the organizational barriers? Organizational barrier types. Aparna.
Organizational policy, status, rules and regulation, complicity in organizational structure, organizational facility.
Then what are the psychological barriers? What are the psychological barriers? Anjosibi, psychological barriers.
Lack of attention,
Okay.
evaluation,
Okay.
loss by transmission.
Okay. So now, last barrier, personal barriers. Next, last one, personal barriers. So what do you by personal barriers? Means the personal barriers are the personal factors of both the sender and the receiver. Okay, which will affect the effective communication. That are personal barriers. Okay, personal factors of both the sender and the receiver. Means here means barriers related to superior subordinate relationship. Okay, barriers related to superior, between the superior and subordinate. So such barriers are personal barriers. Okay, personal factors of both the sender and the receiver will affect the effective communication. So what are the personal barriers? Personal barriers of communication. So there are 4 personal barriers. Fear of challenge to authority, fear of challenge to authority, lack of confidence of superior on his subordinates, unwillingness to communicate. Next, last one, lack of proper incentives. Lack of proper incentives. So these are the personal barriers. So first one, fear of challenge to authority. Fear of challenge to authority. Suppose a superior, so you think that the middle level management, lower level management, subordinate means lower level. We know that there are 3 levels of management in an organization, which is a big top level, middle level, and lower level. So fear of challenge to authority. Suppose a superior feels that a particular communication will affect his authority. Then what he will do? He will suppress some information. If it will affect his authority, then he won't disclose such information. Suppose if the top level management is asking about the performance, about the measurement of actual performance, but the actual performance is below the standard. So already we fixed the standard. Okay, so this much production will be there, this much sales will be there. Suppose if they are asking the which one report actual performance evaluation, so if the actual performance is below the standard, then sometimes they won't disclose because it will affect his authority. Okay, so it is also a personal barrier, the communication barrier only, because on the fear that it will affect his authority. Okay, so then they will get this transfer, sometimes suspension, like that they will get it. So that is the first personal barriers. Okay, fear of challenge to authority. Okay, superior means here means middle, feel that a particular communication, if I said all the thing. If it is correct information means it will affect his authority. Then what he will do? He will not disclose such information. He will suppress such information. That is fear of challenge to authority. Next one, lack of confidence of superior on his subordinates. Lack of confidence of superior on his subordinates. So some superiors have no any confidence on the subordinates. Suppose middle level, then lower level. Middle level, if suppose middle level have no confidence on the which one subordinates, supervisors. Otherwise, top level have no confidence on the middle level. Okay. Suppose if only two level is there, top level and lower level means if top level have no confidence on the subordinates, what they will do? They will not ask any suggestions. They will not ask any opinion from the subordinates. Okay, so that is also another barriers of communication. Okay, so if we give the freedom to communicate means we will get new ideas, new suggestions from the subordinates. Here means if they have no any confidence of superior on his subordinate means they will not ask any opinion or suggestion from the subordinates. That is next barrier. Next one, unwillingness to communicate. Unwillingness to communicate. Unwillingness to communicate. Herely, subordinates also may be unwilling to communicate with the superior on the fear that it will adversely affect their interest. Same like first one, fear of challenge to authority. It will affect their interest. So same like here, if it is a top level supervisor, they are overseeing the work of the workers. Okay, overseeing the work of the workers. So that subordinates, supervisors are also unwillingness to communicate the information because actual work is done by the which one, the workers. So he have to supervise the work of the workers. So sometimes subordinate also, if the performance is less, that same also they will which one unwilling to communicate with the superiors on the fear that it will adversely affect their interest. So here means the superiors, superior to superior. Here means subordinates, subordinates also unwillingness to communicate. Next one, lack of proper incentives. Lack of proper incentives means if the subordinates, suppose if example whenever we are introducing any changes, if the top levels are introducing any changes in the organization, we have to ask opinions or suggestions from the middle level and lower level management. Suppose if here means if subordinates are not adequately motivated or adequately rewarded, they will not take initiative to communicate. Suppose if we are giving chance to them to which one tell their suggestions, but if we are not adequately rewarded, if we are not giving proper salary, if you are not giving extra any incentives, okay, then they will not they may not be willing to offer useful ideas or suggestions to the organization. That is lack of proper incentives. Suppose if you are introducing any changes, you have to ask the lower levels, if top level means lower levels, opinions or suggestions. But if you are not giving adequate salary or which one adequate proper incentives, they may not be willing to offer useful ideas or suggestions to the organization. Okay, so these are the personal barriers between the superior and the subordinate. Okay, fear of challenge to authority, lack of confidence of superior on his subordinates, unwillingness to communicate, and lack of proper incentives. So barriers are over. So first, semantic barrier, badly expressed, the barriers related with the encoding and decoding a message, badly expressed message, symbols with a different meaning, faulty translation, unclarified assumptions, technically jargon, body language and gesture decoding. Next we studied about psychological barrier, premature evaluation, lack of attention, loss by transmission and poor retention, and distrust. Next we studied organizational barriers because of the organization structure, rules and regulations, chain of command. So what are the organizational barriers? Organizational policy, centralization, rules and regulations, status, complexity in organization structure, then organizational facilities. Next, last, personal barriers, fear of challenge to authority. Next, lack of confidence of superior on his subordinates. Then unwillingness to communicate and lack of proper incentives. Next one, improving communication effectiveness. So means overcoming barriers to effective communication. That is improving communication effectiveness, overcoming barriers. Okay, so we studied a lot of barriers: psychological barrier, semantic barrier, personal barrier, organizational barrier. So to overcome this, what we have to do? So there are 8 points. So first one, clarify the ideas before communication. Communicate, already we studied fundamentals of effective communication, that we studied clear, that only. Next, communicate according to the needs of the receiver. Next, consult others before communicating. Next, beware of languages, tone and content of the message. Next, ensure proper feedback. Next, communicate for present as well as future. Next, be a good listener. Next, last one, follow-up communication. Follow-up communication. So these are the overcoming barriers or improving the barriers of effective communication. Next one, first one, clarify the ideas before communication. First overcoming barriers. Okay, clarify the ideas before communication. So the message to be communicated should be absolutely clear and free from all ambiguity. Okay, that is clarify the ideas before communication. Okay, the message to be communicated must be clear and free from all ambiguity. Means first it must be clear to the communicator. Is it correct? First it must be clear to the communicator, sender. Then only it can be conveyed to the receiver. That is first point. Okay, clarify the ideas before communication. So the message to be communicated should be clear, should be absolutely clear and free from all ambiguity. That is, clarify the ideas before communication. Then only we have to communicate to the receiver. Next one, communicate according to the needs and according to the needs of the receiver. Okay, so before communicating the messages, otherwise for the communication to be effective, we have to understand the needs or intelligence level and background of the receiver. Then we have to know what information he likes and in what form. So on that basis, we have to communicate to the receiver. That is, communicate according to the needs of the receiver. Okay, because ultimately we have to get a response from the receiver. So for that basis, what we have to do to be effective communication, so we have to understand the intelligence level and background. Okay, so that you have to consider. If it is a local people, on that basis we have to communicate. If it is a standard people, on that basis we have to communicate. That is, communicate according to the needs of the receiver. Next one, consult others before communication. Consult others before communication. So before, suppose if you are introducing any policy or idea or a plan, before consult, before communication. So if you have to communicate that plan, ideas, policies, before communicating, we have to consult. We have to ask others' opinions, subordinates' opinions. Okay, so that we have to get. Then in developing a plan for communication, we have to consult others. Then only we have to communicate. So everything we have to understand, sir, before communication. Okay, if they have any suggestion, whether it is practical or not practical. Okay, if you are introducing any policy or ideas or a plan. Okay, so before communicating, we have to get ideas, which one, suggestions, opinions from the others. Then then we have to communicate. Clear? That is, consult others before communication. Next one, because here means subordinate participation and involvement is very needed for for this purpose. Okay, if you are introducing any policy or a plan, so it is best to which one, consult others before communicating. Next one, beware of languages, tone, and the content of the message. So already we studied the language, tone, and content, which one are the important aspect of effective communication. Okay, so that we have to use for the effective communication. The languages already we studied in fundamentals of effective communication. Same only here. Okay, because the language used should be understood by the receiver. Okay, then it should not which one offend the sentiments of the receiver. That we have to which one consider. Then which one the tone, language used should be used to stimulate a response from the receiver. That is related to the beware of languages, tone, and the content of the message. Means the language used should be understood by the receiver. Okay, because our ultimate objective is to get a response from the receiver. Okay, so on that basis we have to use languages, tone, and content. Next one, ensure proper feedback. Ensure proper feedback, because already we know that communication is a two-way process. Okay, communication is a two-way process. So it is essential to have a follow-up action to ensure that message conveyed is rightly understood. Okay, so that we need what feedback. Sometimes a question answer. Okay, so we know that communication. That is, communication is complete when it will complete when the response or reactions by the receiver becomes known to the sender. Then only communication will be completed, because it is a two-way process. So we have to encourage the receiver to express their response or reaction for the message. So that is ensure proper feedback. Ensure proper feedback, because it is a two-way process to understand whether the our message conveyed is really understood or not. To know that, we need which one, proper feedback. Next one, communicate for present as well as future. Communicate for present as well as future. So why we are communicating the information, why we are exchanging the ideas, information, orders, for what purpose? To serve not only for the present situation, but also for the future. So everyone are exchanging, we are exchanging the information for what purpose? To satisfy the needs of present as well as your future needs. Okay, so that is communicate for present as well as future needs. Next one, be a good listener. Be a good listener. Be a good listener means careful listening is a prerequisite for effective communication. Careful listening is a prerequisite for effective. If you fully listen the entire communication, we can solve the lot of problem. Okay, so careful listening is a prerequisite for effective communication. Okay, we know that patient listening solves half of the problem. Then not only for the subordinates, it is essential for the superior also. So subordinates are telling any suggestions, they have to listen. Who? The superior. Same way, subordinate also have to listen the superiors, which one? Orders, instructions. So that is not only for the subordinates, it is essential for the superior also. They also have to listen the subordinates problem. Okay, that is be a good listener. Next, last one, follow-up communication. There should be a regular follow-up. a regular review of instruction given to the subordinates. Okay, so it helps to remove any difficulties in implementing the instruction. Suppose if we are giving any instructions, that we have to review every time. Okay, then only we will get the best result. So if example, if I am giving only simple instructions to do the project, so then you won't do any project. So you have to review and follow up the action, whether you completed the project or not. So there should be regular follow-up or review of the instruction given to the subordinates. So it helps to review, remove all difficulties faced in implementing the instructions. So these are the overcoming barriers of communication. Okay, first one, clarify the ideas before communication. Means the message to be communicated should be absolutely clear and free from all ambiguity. Then first it should be clear to the sender, then only it can be easily conveyed to the receiver. Next, communicate according to the needs of the receiver. We have to understand the intelligence level and background of the receiver before communicating. So then we have to understand what information they likes or in what form. So on that basis, we have to communicate. Next one, consult others before communication. So before communicating, before exchanging the information, we have to ask which one opinions or suggestions from the subordinates. Here, subordinates involvement is more important. Okay, so whether it is practical or not. Okay, that is we have to consider. Next, the language, tone, and content that should be used should be easily understood by the receiver, and should be able to get a response from the receiver. Next one, ensure proper feedback, because we said it is a two-way process. When communication will complete, the response or reaction by the reaction of the receiver becomes known to the sender. Next, communicate for the present as well as future. So why we are exchanging the information for ideas, plans, orders, instruction to satisfy the need of the present as well as the future situations. Next, be a good listener. So we said careful listening is a very important. So whenever the superiors are telling any which one information, orders, and instruction, we have to listen. Patient listening, it solves half of the problem. It is needed not only for the subordinates but also for the superiors. Next, a follow-up action. Okay, there should be regular follow-up and a review of instructions given to the subordinates. So it helps to remove all the difficulties faced in executing that orders. Next one, introduction and greeting of workplace. Okay, introduction and greeting of workplace. So already we know that in the organization, in banking field, in a business organization and in banking field. So it is a which one? So we are doing front end activities. Okay, front end activities. Because what is my front end activities? Here we are dealing sales, marketing, customer support service, manufacturing. So regularly we have to deal with the customers. Then the which one? People within the organizations, among the workforce. Okay, we have to communicate. So introduction and greeting of workforce means simple. It means that the first word we say to people when we meet, that is introduction and greeting of workplace. Okay, so we know that first impression is the best impression. Is it correct? So within 5 minutes we have to create a good which one impressions. Okay, to the opposite people. So that is introduction and greeting of workplace. So greeting with the customers also and with the workforce also. That is introduction and greeting of workplace. Means effective communication. Effective communication promotes better relations and work culture among the employees. Okay, effective communication promotes better relations and work culture among the employees. So to be successful, a person requires a combination of communication skills. What are the communication we need? Writing skill, speaking skill, listening skill, and non-verbal action through body language. Okay, so these skills we need. So we know that it is effective communications are particularly important for those who are dealing in front-end activities. Okay, so we need the effective communication skill. Why? Because we are dealing with the customers. We are more dealing with the workforce. So if example, if you want to explain the characteristics of the product, explain about the product and the characteristics, we need the effective communication. So if you want to know the needs and wants of the customer, we need the effective communication skill. Okay, so to know the needs and wants, and also pursue the customer to buy the product, and also stimulate the customer to buy the product. For that purpose also we need effective communication skill. Okay, so it is not possible without effective communication. Okay, so communication is very important. Already we know that communication. What do you mean by communication? It is an exchange of ideas, information, feelings, opinions between two or more persons. Okay, so to develop an effective relationship with the customer, what we need, it is important to look well groomed, so neat, clean. Okay, so then attractive appearance, then good communication, and polite manner, behave in a polite manner, that is needed. Okay, for which one, to develop an effective relationship with the customer. So one more some point, you can establishing relationship with the customers. How we can establish? So you can establish effective relation with the customer by communicating with your customers a way which makes them feel valued and respected. Okay, so that is the first point, which makes them feel valued and respected. We have to give respect. Okay, so whenever we you have to greet the people like good morning, okay, good afternoon. Okay, so that's we have to do. Then we have to give the informations what they need. Okay, so the next, identifying and confirming the needs and expectation of your customer. So what the customer needs, on that basis we have to provide the services. Identifying and confirming, you have to confirm whether they satisfied their needs or wants. Next one, treating your customer courteously and hopefully, even when you are working under pressure. So if you are under pressure or tension, then also if the customers are coming in front of you, you have to treat well, courteously we have to treat. We have to consider them, then we have to satisfy their needs. Next one, maintaining communication with your customer to ensure that they are kept informed and reassured. So up to still that we have to communicate, we have to provide information. Up to they are kept informed and reassured. Next, adapting your behavior to respond effectively to different customer behavior. To different customer behavior. So adapt, change your character according to the which one customers, because every individual is unique. So different people have which one different background. So on that basis, on the basis of the customer background, we have to change our communication, adapting behavior to effectively to different customer behavior. So through that way we can establish good relation with the customers. Clear? That is introducing and the greeting of a people. So these are the things we have to remember to make effective relation with the customer. Okay, we have to consider, first we have to greet the customer, then we have to understand their needs, then we have to fulfill their needs by providing the goods and services, okay, on the basis of their needs. Next one, telephone etiquette. What do you mean by etiquette? Etiquette means formal manners and rules that are followed in a social and professional settings. That is etiquette. So it is very easy, okay? What do you mean by etiquette? It is a formal manners and rules that are followed in a social and professional settings, or the customary code of polite behavior in a society, or the members of the particular profession, or the members of the particular profession. That is etiquette. So whenever any call from the customer, what we have to do, that is telephone etiquette. What are the telephone etiquettes? So answering to the call at the earliest. Okay. So whenever the customers are asking any help through phone, answering to the call at the earliest, then greet the caller or customer. Greet, good morning, good evening. Okay. So that we have to do that. Greet the caller, greet the customer. Next, take a message and communicate it to the concerned person. Suppose if any problem is there, that we have to communicate to the respective person. Okay, that we have to communicate. Next, call back on a time if you have assured the customer that you will be able to call him at a particular time. Suppose if he said we will call you back after sometimes after getting information, we will call you. So that we have to do call back on a time if you have assured the customer that you will be able calling or her at a particular time. So these are the telephone etiquette. Okay. So next, so these are the things. So first I said personal barriers, fear of challenge to authority. A superior feel that a particular communication may adversely affect his authority. So in that case, he will withhold or suppress such information. Next one, lack of confidence of superior on his subordinates. Means some superiors have no confidence on the subordinates. So they won't ask. Suppose if they are introducing any changes, they will not ask any opinion or suggestion from the subordinates because they have no any confidence. Okay. They know that they won't get any useful ideas or useful suggestions from the subordinates. Next one, unwillingness to communicate. Unwillingness to communicate. Similarly, subordinates are also unwilling to communicate because it will adversely affect their work, their interest. Next one, lack of proper incentives. So if the subordinates are not adequately motivated, they are not giving proper incentives, proper proper bonus, allowance, work allowance, which one, tiffin elements, entertainment elements. If they are not giving means, they will not be willing to offer useful ideas or suggestion to the superiors. Next, improving communication effectiveness. Improving communication effectiveness. So to overcome psychological, semantic, personal, organizational barriers, we have to do some steps. Clarify the ideas before communication. So the message should be clear and free from all ambiguity. The next, communicate according to the needs and wants of the receiver. So before communicating, you have to understand the background and intelligence level. On that basis, we have to communicate. So we have to know what information they need and in what form. On that basis, we have to communicate. Then we will get a good response from the receiver. Next, consult others before communicating. So it is essential to consult before giving instruction to the subordinates. We have to consult others before communicating whether the plan is practical or not. That we have to, for that purpose, we have to consult others. Next, beware of languages. The language used should be understood by the receiver. It should not offend the sentiments of the receiver. The tone and content should be able to get a response from the receiver. Next, ensure proper feedback. The communication is complete when the response and reactions become known to the sender. Next, communicate for present as well as future. Communicate for present as well as future. So we have to communicate. We are exchanging the information, not only serve the present needs of the subordinates or present needs of the receiver, but also fulfill the future needs of the organization. Okay. Next, be a good listener. So patient listening solves half of the problem. So we have to listen. It is essential not only for the superiors, but also for the superiors and subordinates. They have to listen carefully. Next, follow-up communication. There should be a regular follow-up. There should be a regular follow-up and a review of instructions. Okay, so it will help to remove all difficulties in implementing the instructions. Okay, next one, introduction and greeting of people. So means the first words we say when we meet any people. So for that we need the effective communication. So it will promote better relations. It is and work culture among the employees. So for that the effective communication is needed. So through that only we can establish a good relation with the customer and good relation with the our workforce. Okay, for that we need effective communications. So so we said for effective communication what we have to do, which we have to give values to the customer, we have to respect the customer, we have to identify and confirming the needs and wants of the customer, then treat the customer courteously, then maintain communication with the customer to ensure that they are kept informed. Next, adapt, change your behavior according to the behavior of the customer. You have to change the tune. If it is a good, okay, so on that basis we have to react. Clear? So over.